Hey guys, SuperHorrorBro Mike here, and in today's video, we take a look at the latest update for VHS-based horror game Amanda the Adventurer. You may remember I put together a story explained video theorizing as to the hidden meaning behind Amanda and the dark entity controlling her several months ago. Since that video launched, there have been 3 separate updates, all adding in extra clues as to what the sinister secret story of this game is all about. So in this video, I will be walking you through all of the updates as well as the basic story of the game before switching gears and giving my thoughts on the greater story at play. Who is Amanda? Who is WOOLIE? And what is really happening with these demonic tapes? Well, sit back, relax, and let's find out together as we explore Amanda the Adventurer version 1.3 in today's episode of Horror Games Explained. The premise for Amanda the Adventurer is actually not set up in-game, but rather over on the official download page over on itch.io. This is because Amanda the Adventurer was originally a simple game jam project for horror game publisher DreadXP, with the idea being to create a spooky found footage project in under 48 hours. On the webpage we are given the following information. Digging through the attic, he found a box set of old children's TV show Amanda the Adventurer, starring a brave girl named Amanda and a cowardly sheep named WOOLIE. You don't recall any specific episodes or characters in the show, or what happens in the show exactly, or much about it at all come to think about it, but it still feels strangely familiar. Curiosity takes hold and you decide to watch the tapes and let nostalgia take you back to a simpler age. Episodes included with the box set: Baking a Pie, Going to the Store, Let Me Out, Making New Friends. The crossed out text immediately tells us that not all is well with these tapes, and it is highly suspicious how our protagonist has no recollection of ever owning them, nor of the show's very existence. When we load into the game, we find ourselves before an old TV set with a built-in VHS dock. Notice how strange images flicker on screen between moments of static. Beside the television, a stack of tapes sit ready to be played, each containing a different episode as previously listed. Inserting these tapes plays an episode of Amanda the Adventurer, so let's go over each in sequence. Tape 1 begins with Amanda and WOOLIE introducing themselves before Amanda asks the player if we like apples.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
And I'm WOOLIE.
And I love apples. Do you like apples?
We can then type our answer. The answer that Amanda is looking for is yes, but we can also type no or pretty much whatever we want as long as it fits into the spacing on screen. You may notice in this video there are some words typed in capitals and some words typed in lowercase. All the capitals are when I am typing myself, and the lowercase is when the game is taking over and making me type in a certain word. Defying Amanda leads to a change in her mood, but we'll cover this in detail during the theory portion of this video. Next, WOOLIE comments on how he is allergic to apples. Amanda doesn't seem concerned and asks the player to point out the grocery store so they can purchase apples for a pie. Once inside the store, if we spell out apple, Amanda seems happy while WOOLIE uncomfortable. The tape ends as Amanda rejoices over the prospect of apple pie, and the credits quickly scroll to throw out the episode. Pausing these credits at key moments reveals a hidden message which warns us to turn off the TV now. Tape 2 begins with a bang as WOOLIE tries to directly talk to and warn the viewer.
Oh, you. Okay, we don't have much time. Whatever you do, don't...
Hi everyone, I'm Amanda.
I'm WOOLIE.
After this, Amanda shows up and explains that we must visit the meat man to get some meat for Grandma. WOOLIE questions this, raising the point that Grandma is a vegetarian. Amanda asks us to point out the butcher's shop, at which point we travel inside to greet the meat man. This is where the various updates Amanda the Adventurer has received come into play. When asked what we need to get from the meat man, the answer Amanda expects us to give is meat. However, if we instead type lamb twice in a row, then the game forces us to type meat on the third input. Writing lamb allows us to access a secret third tape after the second one ends. No matter how we answer Amanda's question, the result is the same. The creepy child suddenly stops smiling as if possessed and ominously turns to WOOLIE. With the secret tapes now unlocked, let's take a look at each in turn. The first update gave us this tape, which once played displays a number of mysterious and slightly ominous images. The first of a suburban house, the second of a forest road, the third of a meat storage locker full of hanging cadavers, the number 826 pinned to the top. At this point we are forced to type in the word WOOLIE, suggesting that this was WOOLIE's fate at the hands of Amanda and the meat man. The second update altered the tape. It is now much shorter in length, displaying just one single image. This seems to be of an aerial photograph, taken high above the forest area seen in the previous recording. An area of the landscape is circled, almost as if something or someone is to be found there. Upon typing into the provided spacing, the game glitches out and the entity residing within emerges. If we study this image closely, we can see that it is standing in the room our protagonist was watching the tapes from. The wallpaper is an exact match. The entity waves, and judging by the border around the sides of our screen, it is heavily implied that we have switched places with this monster and are now trapped inside the Amanda VHS. The third and so far final update is the most substantial yet and is quite chilling to behold. In this recording, WOOLIE seems unnerved and detached from interaction with Amanda.
I think we're close to the treasure now. Aren't you excited, WOOLIE? I said, aren't you excited?
Huh? Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, but we still don't know where the treasure is, buried.
Amanda details tools the pair have previously used, a crowbar and a noose, leaving us to use the third and final tool, a shovel to dig up the treasure. Before we can do so, WOOLIE interjects and tells the viewer to burn the tapes, before Amanda becomes possessed and destroys him using a supernatural power.
The shovel. You're right. Now we can dig this up before someone...
Okay, that's enough. Bah! No, I can't let you do this anymore. I don't care what you do to me. You, take the tape out now and destroy them. Burn them. Whatever, just get rid of these other tapes. Do you hear me? You can't let anyone else watch these. Let anyone...
After WOOLIE is erased from the videotape, we cut to real-life footage of a man wandering through the woods. It seems this is the person WOOLIE tried to warn previously. They place the tape under a stack of firewood and attempt to light it ablaze. However, every time we type in words such as light or flame to aid in this process, the entity fights back, preventing the man from starting the fire. He closes his lighter and recovers the tape. Then, as he heads home, the following conversation with a friend plays out.
Hello? Yeah, hey, yeah, no, I found it. Yeah, I found the place. It was just off the highway. Yeah, not too far. It wasn't that hard. Yeah, no, they're all, hold on, what? Was I followed? No, I don't think so. Who'd be following me? No, nobody was there. It was just me. Yeah, no, the tapes are all destroyed too. They're gone. Every single one. Yeah, no problem. Listen, it's getting late. I really need to get home. I got work tomorrow. So I'll call you when I get back home, okay? Cool. Okay. Have a good night. I'll talk to you soon. Yeah, bye.
tape 4 is the creepiest of all, as it becomes immediately clear that Amanda is not as she first appeared. She stands before a house in the middle of the night. By her feet, the remains of her friend WOOLIE can be seen. Amanda becomes more and more excitable and unhinged as she asks us to head over to the house, open the door, and say hello to the entity within.
It's dark out. Let's go home. Knock on the door.
After we open the door, the entity escapes the confines of the tape and traps the viewer inside. And that is the entire sequence of events as of writing this video. So now we know the story of Amanda the Adventurer, what about its deeper meaning? What really is going on here? Well, all we can do is theorize and speculate, so let's end this video as I give my personal interpretation of events. When trying to work out the backstory to these creepy videotapes and the characters found within them, we must analyze all of the clues cryptically given to us throughout the game. Firstly, we can draw the conclusion that Amanda is possessed by the demonic entity. This is evidenced by the fact her eyes glaze over and her body contorts, as seen in the final tape. Her voice changes tone and pitch too. Amanda also seems to gain extraordinary powers capable of destroying WOOLIE, as seen in the secret third tape during update 1.3. Finally, the shape of Amanda's character outline is almost an exact match for the outline of the demon itself. All of this evidence makes it very clear that the two are intertwined. The next conclusion we can draw is that there is a deep connection between Amanda and WOOLIE, one which goes beyond the game world. At first it seems these two are friends, but as the tapes go on, Amanda's behaviour becomes more and more sinister and WOOLIE attempts to distance himself, growing afraid of who she has become. When Amanda the Adventurer was updated for the second time, this picture appeared in the protagonist's room. It is of a young boy and girl playing together in the woods. Not only are Amanda and WOOLIE depicted as young childlike characters, but much of their interactions also take place in woodland settings. To add fuel to this fiery fire, Amanda mentions getting meat to give to Grandma, and WOOLIE also references Grandma when replying. If these two share the same grandma, then it links them as family members. So we can speculate that these characters may well be digitized representations of the two children playing in this picture, making them brother and sister, now trapped inside the videotapes and represented as these characters, with Amanda under the control of a demonic entity. So what is the purpose of these tapes and the demon's endgame? To answer this question, we must look over the cryptic references to buried treasure, the clues given to us during the secret third tapes. In update 1.1 we saw this view of a house, and later in version 1.3, Amanda references using a crowbar.
I brought a crowbar, a rope, and a shovel. We already used the crowbar for the door.
This suggests that the pair broke into the house pictured here. Then, using the noose, they hung its resident. A resident that, once dead, they buried out in the woods. The victim in question seems to flicker up on the TV screen if we pause at just the right moment. The most obvious candidate for the identity of this victim is the aforementioned Grandma, a weak old woman who would perhaps not be able to fight back against her niece while she committed the terrible act. Her brother forced to watch in terror. But why would the girl do this? Well, the only logical conclusion to draw at this time is that she was influenced in some way by a demon, the same entity now haunting the Amanda tapes. This murderous act of influence is portrayed in-game when Amanda and WOOLIE visit the ominous meat man, while getting, you guessed it, meat for Grandma. The meat man representing the influence the entity held over the little girl, pushing her to carry out the dreadful deed. Once blood had been spilt, it acted as a sacrifice for the evil entity, which then manifested in the form of these VHS tapes. The brother and sister now trapped inside these tapes and represented by characters WOOLIE and Amanda. These siblings now get viewers to play along with the demon's game, until during tape 4, Making New Friends, the viewer will open the door and let the demon into their home.
Knock on the door! I want to go inside! Let me in!
At this point, the viewer's soul is claimed by the entity as it is able to leave the tapes and insert them into its world. We can see past human souls harvested by this demon reflected by the many objects with eyes. These were all once human and are now imprisoned by this entity. Upon finding the Amanda tapes, a seed is planted into the viewer's mind. They feel the show is familiar despite never seeing it. This is the demon's influence, the same influence used on the little girl to get her and her brother to sacrifice their grandma in the first place, leading to the creation of these VHS tapes, which are now used by the demon to harvest human souls. This is the demon's endgame. But the brother manages to resist the demon's influence. As WOOLIE, he warns the viewer every step of the way, and eventually speaks directly to our protagonist, demanding they break the cycle and destroy the tapes once and for all. Unfortunately, the demon's influence has taken hold, and our character is unable to resist. For now, the tapes remain intact and the story continues. But this particular video has come to its conclusion. I hope you enjoyed this look at the latest update for Amanda the Adventurer and my thoughts on what its mysterious story is all about. If you did, then remember to leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for more horror related content. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.